Imagine you have been chosen to speak as a representative to a board of important high-class leaders within your company at work. You're speaking not only to represent yourself, but also for your coworkers. You usually don't give speeches because speaking in front of others makes you anxious and nervous, but you know that this speech is very important for you and your coworkers, and it's a reflection to those higher up of who you really are and what you're all about. Will you let speaker anxiety and nerves get in the way of making a good impression in speech? Over the years, I've given several speeches, including speaking in front of hundreds at my graduation while representing my class as class president. With each speech, I learned new things about myself. I learned my weaknesses and strengths with public speaking. With a little self-assessment, I finally figured out how I could help myself manage my speaker anxiety. You too can learn to manage your speaker anxiety with just a few simple steps. Today, as the audience, focus on yourselves as individuals and try to figure out the things that cause you to have speaker anxiety. With this speech, I will teach you how to manage speaker anxiety and how to be confident when presenting speeches to any group of people. The first step in managing your speaker anxiety is figuring out what causes it. According to article Public Speaking Anxiety, published by the University of Wisconsin-Stout on website uwstout.edu, retrieved on April 10, 2013, self-assessing yourself can help you identify your problems. You should ask yourself what your strengths and weaknesses are when it comes to public speaking. You should figure out ways to help improve your strengths and strengthen your weaknesses. You should also assess what you are really afraid of and ask yourself why you're afraid. The next most important step in managing your speaker anxiety is practice. We have all heard the phrase practice makes perfect in sports. This phrase applies to communication and speaking too. Practice time can be spent rehearsing in front of friends or even in front of a mirror. Article Public Speaking Anxiety on uwstout.edu tells you to let your friends and family critique you on your strengths and weaknesses during your practice presentation. The article also recommends you to record yourself giving your speech and review your strengths and weaknesses so you can work to improve them before your final presentation. Practice does make perfect. By practicing, you can figure out your strengths and weaknesses. In Chapter 11 on page 298 of Speech Textbook, Communication Principles of a Lifetime, 4th edition, written by Vivian Ivy, published in 2010, gives speakers advice on how to practice effectively. You should make sure when you're practicing that you do it in a realistic way. Make sure that you're standing up and speaking loudly and clearly when you imagine your audience in front of you. If you practice your speech before you present it, you are well on your way to completing the next step, preparation. Being prepared will help decrease your anxiety. There are several steps you can take to be prepared in addition to practicing. For example, you can develop an outline of your speech as advised by textbook Communication Principles of a Lifetime, published in 2010. Once you have taken proper measures to feel confident and prepared for your presentation, you can then focus on ways to help reduce anxiety during your presentation. According to Communication Principles of a Lifetime, written by Vivian Ivy, in addition to proper posture and clear speaking, you need to be sure to focus on your audience and your message. The text states, if you're audience-centered, you will reduce speaking anxiety. Make sure you consider the goals and needs of the audience. The more you know about your audience, the more confident you will be when presenting to your audience. Make sure you focus on connecting with your audience as well. Focusing on your message is another way to reduce anxiety, according to the text. If you concentrate on your presentation and the goals you are presenting, you will forget about being nervous. While presenting, focus on your audience and your message instead of your fears that make you nervous and anxious. According to a brief article by Julius Kahn, posted on ezinearticles.com, retrieved on April 11, 2013, if you view your audience as those who support what you have to say, you will reduce anxiety. Support is everything when getting over fears and anxiety on speaking. In addition to all these steps, you can also use a few simple techniques to help manage your anxiety. Communication Principles of a Lifetime, published in 2010, tells you to give yourself a mental pep talk and remind yourself why you're presenting the information. Tell yourself things like, I can do this. A little self-confidence booster will go a long way when managing anxiety. You can also try things like yoga, meditation, and deep breathing techniques. This will help reduce symptoms of anxiety and will help relax your body to help you feel more confident, calmer, and in control, according to the article published by University of Wisconsin-Stout on uwstout.edu. The only way to get over speaker anxiety is to speak. Take advantage of every opportunity that arises for you to speak. Just like with anything else, the more you practice, the better you'll be, and the more experience you have at speaking, the more confident you will feel while speaking and presenting. Follow the measures discussed throughout this speech, and you too can be successful and confident with your public speaking. Remember, a confident speaker is a great speaker. You don't have to let stage fright keep you from being the great speaker you're capable of. You can be the hero, and you can represent yourself and others in confidence. Don't let anxiety control you. You control anxiety.